Welcome back to Listify. Please help the channel by pressing the like button and subscribe.
Today, we are looking at unusual coincidences from the past that are literally mind-blowing. The sun and moon appear to be the same size in the sky due to a remarkable coincidence. Although the sun's diameter is about 400 times greater than that of the moon, the sun is also about 400 times farther away. In a Chicago museum, there is a 3,000-year-old Egyptian bust of a woman that has been compared to Michael Jackson due to its resemblance to the late music icon. The limestone carving has rounded eyes, bony cheeks, and a nose that is almost like that of Jackson. Walter Summerford, a man with an extraordinary story, was struck by lightning 3 times during his lifetime. The remarkable coincidences didn't end there, as even after his death, his gravestone was also struck by lightning. In Detroit during the 1930s, an extraordinary series of events unfolded. A baby accidentally fell from a high window and miraculously landed on a man named Joseph Figlock, who happened to be passing by on the street below. Both the baby and Figlock survived the incident, although they sustained injuries. Remarkably, a year later, history repeated itself. The same baby fell from the same window, once again landing on Joseph Figlock as he walked down the same street. Astonishingly, both the baby and Figlock survived this second incident as well. Enzo Ferrari, the founder of Ferrari, passed away in 1988, while footballer Mesut Ozil was born in the same year. The coincidence doesn't end there, as the two men bear a striking resemblance to each other. In July 1975, a 17-year-old boy named Neville Eben was riding his moped in Hamilton, Bermuda, when he was hit by a taxi and killed. Exactly 1 year later, Neville's younger twin brother, Erskine Lawrence Eben, was riding the same moped in the same intersection when he was hit by the same taxi, with the same driver and passenger inside. Tragically, Erskine also died in the accident. In 1903, a man named William West arrived at Leavenworth Prison, only to be told by the clerk that he had been there before. It turned out that there was another man named William West who looked exactly like him serving in the same prison. This remarkable coincidence led to the use of fingerprints for identification. In 2001, an album called Live Scenes from New York was released with the New York skyline and the Twin Towers burning in flames on its album cover. However, after the tragic events of September 11, 2001, all the albums were recalled and re-released with a different album art. In 1898, Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan, which had a ship called Titan that was similar to the Titanic. The similarities between the Titan and the Titanic are striking. Both ships were considered the biggest at the time, both unsinkable, both were on a transatlantic voyage, both hit an iceberg, and both sank, killing most of its passengers. The novella even included details such as the lack of lifeboats and the fact that the ship was traveling at a high speed. In 2009, Felix Batista, an expert in Mexico kidnappings who had negotiated the release of at least 100 victims, was kidnapped in Saltillo, Mexico. He had gone there to give lectures on how to avoid kidnapping. Violet Jessup, an ocean liner stewardess and a nurse, survived 3 disastrous ship sinkings. She was on board the RMS Olympic, which collided with a warship, the RMS Titanic, which collided with an iceberg, and the HMHS Britannic, which suffered an explosion. In June 1941, the tomb of Timur the Lame was exhumed by Soviet anthropologists, and allegedly, inside his casket were the words, "Whomsoever opens my tomb shall unleash an invader more terrible than I." 3 days later, Adolf Hitler launched the largest military invasion on the Soviet Union, with 75% of German forces. In 1970, the Oregon officials used a dynamite to get rid of a 45-feet-long whale carcass that washed up to the shore when a huge chunk of blubber flew and flattened a brand-new Oldsmobile. The vehicle belonged to a military veteran who bought it in a get-a-whale of a deal promotional sale. Two women who were working in the same hospital were adopted by American families as children and later discovered that they were, in fact, sisters who had been separated when they were very young. Mark Twain was born after the visit of Halley's Comet in 1835, and he died the day after its return in 1910. What's even more bizarre is what he said a year before his death. "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. The Almighty has said, no doubt. Now here are these two unaccountable freaks. They came in together. They must go out together." John Richardson, the set designer responsible for the infamous decapitation scene in the movie The Omen in 1976, met with a similar fate after filming. Richardson and his assistant, Liz Moore, were involved in a car accident on Friday the 13th, just a year after the release of The Omen. The accident occurred in the Netherlands, near a sign that read Omen 66.6 kilometers. Moore was tragically cut in half in the accident, echoing the decapitation scene from the movie. If you found this video interesting, may I ask if you could like this video? And if you want more, smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. We love you for it. It tells us you dig our stuff and we'll make more. Catch you in the next one.